I'm Calluna, and welcome back to Screenshots. Merry Christmas! So, Christmas is a time for a lot of different things for different people. Family, togetherness, presents. Yay! For me, this time of the season, I personally love all the Christmas episodes of my favorite cartoons. There is no shortage of Christmas episodes, and you can bet that if a show runs long enough, it will probably feature a Christmas episode at some point. So I've decided, in honor of the holiday, to compile a list of my favorite episodes. Before we start, we gotta lay some ground rules to help narrow things down. First, these are all episodes of a show, not a TV movie or special. So, for example, 'Twas the Fight Before Christmas, the Powerpuff Girls Christmas special, wouldn't count on this list because it's an hour long versus the traditional 2 11-minute or 1 20-ish minute episode. Second, most of the episodes on this list have the holiday as an integral part of the story, not just as a convenient setting. And third, these are all animated episodes. So, sorry Power Rangers. And with that, these are my top 12 animated Christmas episodes. One for every day of Christmas. Number 12, Animaniacs, episode 49 and 50. I know. I've just started the list and already it looks like I'm breaking the rules. Well, that's why this is placed at number 12. Like a lot of shows of its time, a traditional episode of Animaniacs featured anywhere from 2 to 6 different vignettes with a large cast of characters. Both episode 49 and 50 feature a set of stories involving Christmas, and I had a hard time picking just one. They each had their strong points. The Little Drummer Warners from episode 50 is a surprisingly respectful and heartfelt treatment of the birth of Jesus. And while I didn't expect them to be outright hurtful or just respectful, it was still a nice surprise. 'Twas the Day Before Christmas from episode 49, on the other hand, is much more what you would have expected. It takes the traditional 'Twas the Night Before Christmas poem and retells it using the characters from the show in its trademark sense of humor. It's very well done and clever, though not terribly surprising. Both episodes are equally good and use the different vignettes well, so because of that, this is placed at number 12.
He was dressed all in fur with a glaze in his eyes, 'cause the fall knocked him silly.
Happy Easter, you guys!
His face, how it's wrinkled. His dimples, how merry.
His cheeks were like roses.
His gut, that was scary.
Number 11. Pinkie and the Brain, A Pinkie and the Brain Christmas. Seems like being in the ensemble for the Animaniacs episode wasn't enough for Pinkie and the Brain, because they have their own Christmas episode. Brain and Pinkie dress up as elves at the North Pole and hack the Christmas list so it includes a noodle noggin doll, which Brain plans to use to take over the world. Big surprise there. What makes this episode stand out isn't the comedy parts, but the warm-hearted ones. When Brain finally reads Pinkie's letter to Santa, in which Pinkie asks nothing for himself and just something for Brain, he is so overcome with good feelings that he abandons his world domination plan to spend Christmas with Pinkie. Also, Pinkie gives him a little keychain of the world. That's adorable.
As if Santa could possibly read all the letters he gets.
Oh, no, Brain. The elves in the mailroom read them, then they input the information into big computers.
Oh, yes, of course. The Santa computers that run on candy canes and potpourri.
Number 10. The Boondocks, A Huey Freeman Christmas. Well, this episode is probably the most unique of the bunch, since it departs from the usual Christmas story and instead uses Huey's direction of his school's Christmas play to deliver a message of free speech and expression. Also, his brother Riley is determined to seek vengeance against Santa because he hasn't gotten what he wants. Like rims. You know, the usual. Without going into too much detail, Huey's play is called The Adventures of Black Jesus, so the title kind of speaks for itself. The episode is a great example of the show's trademark mix of humor and social commentary, and applies it to the Christmas season in a way that matches the tone of the show. The show provides a nice mix of subtle humor along with the slapstick and over-the-top moments.
What the fuck? You're all just gonna stand there and watch me get my ass kicked? Nobody had my back? Huh? Nobody's got Santa's back. Ain't this a bitch? Just fucked up with you all.
Even Santa gets it.
Number 9. Justice League, Comfort and Joy. This episode features 3 concurrent stories that it cuts between throughout the episode. One story features Hawkgirl and Green Lantern talking about holidays and celebration, eventually leading to a space bar fight, and overall it isn't really a traditional Christmas story. The other 2, however, do focus on the holiday. Flash visits an orphanage to deliver presents to the kids, and in his attempt to get one has to battle and eventually work together with Gorilla Grodd. In the other, Superman invites John to spend Christmas with him and his family, and John begins to finally open up emotionally. Each story has a different tone, and the way the episode cuts between the cornier Flash story, the action-packed Green Lantern and Hawkgirl story, and very quiet and emotional John and Superman story really balances out well for the viewer. Overall, a very well-mixed Christmas episode.
This little guy was crazy for Christmas. We used to wrap his presents in lead foil so he couldn't peek.
You mean Santa wrapped them?
Oh, of course, dear.
Number 8. Batman the Animated Series, Christmas with the Joker. But what about Batman, you might say? Have no fear, his episode is on this list too. And how does Batman spend his Christmas?
Darkness! No parents!
Well, that's just rude. However, it's not that far off the mark. Robin tries to take a break from tirelessly patrolling the city on Christmas to watch It's a Wonderful Life with Batman. However, Joker shows up with his own brand of Christmas fun, so of course it's up to the dynamic duo to stop him. The fight scenes using the Nutcracker music are really well done, and of course, the Joker provides excellent Christmas music himself.
Jingle bells, Batman smelt, Robin laid an egg. The Batmobile lost the wheel, and the Joker got away!
Number 7. The Fairly OddParents, Christmas Every Day. Now, at some point, you probably wished, I wish it could be Christmas every day, because you'd always get presents, you wouldn't have to go to school, and the seasonal Starbucks coffee is always available. However, the Fairly OddParents episode takes that concept and goes, no, just no. Timmy wishes it could be Christmas every day, and at first it's great, but eventually he realizes that having the holiday every day makes it no longer a special occasion. Well, that and the other holiday icons are so angry that their holiday is being cancelled that they declare war on Santa. Now, this is not a terribly unique concept for a Christmas episode, but the Fairly OddParents show the negative consequences of this relatively common wish, which not every kid show does, and that's kind of refreshing.
Just me, Mom, and Dad. I'm so very glad there's no Mickey, no school. And no Mickey. Right. I wish every day could be Christmas. Then I'd get the best gift of all. My parents stay home to say, we love you, Noggy.
Mine!
Number 6. Futurama, A Tale of Two Santas. Now, I had a hard time with this one as well because Futurama has 3 very good Christmas episodes, and each explores different aspects of the holiday. For me, however, the second one, A Tale of Two Santas, is my favorite of the 3. After the Planet Express crew delivers letters to Santa on Xmas, they incapacitate Santa Claus and try to restore Xmas to how it was in the 20th century, with Bender acting as the new Santa Claus. Since the first episode explains the concept of Xmas and the murderous Santa Claus robot, the second episode has the benefit of devoting more time to the story itself instead of the setup. You can't go wrong with any of these 3 episodes, but this one in particular is my favorite.
Yo, Gringo! What happened to you, dog?
Oh, it's awful, Kwanzaa bot. Everyone hates me.
At least they understand you, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody down with this Kwanzaa tip.
Hey, maybe you can lend me a hand with these deliveries.
No time. I gotta hand out the traditional Kwanzaa book. I've been giving these out for 647 years.
Number 5. Jackie Chan Adventures, A Jolly J-Team Christmas. Now, I'm assuming you didn't expect Jackie Chan Adventures of all things to end up on the list. Well, neither did I. I do remember liking the show at the time, but I can't really call to mind a lot of specifics about it. The show does have a Christmas episode, and not only is it a good episode, but it still holds up really well. Daolon Wong, an evil sorcerer, wants to steal Santa's chi because it is purely good and he can use it to take over the world, as evil sorcerers do. Santa's Secret Service elves enlist the help of Jackie and the gang to save Santa. The episode features an ensemble cast of the various supporting characters who show up in random episodes of the series. It's a surprisingly funny and well put together episode, and overall I don't want to spoil too much of it because you really should see it. However, bonus points to one of the best fake video game names in television history.
Ultra Moose 2 Antler Gear Solid.
Yellow version. How did he know?
Come on, Jackie. He's Santa Claus.
Number 4, South Park, A Woodland Critter Christmas. Yeah, I bet you're not surprised to see that this is on the list. South Park has had Christmas episodes before, but this one is by far the best. Narrated in classic Christmas movie format, Stan discovers a group of woodland critters who want to celebrate Christmas, but there's more going on here than what meets the eye. Stan becomes a reluctant protagonist in a really weird story matching the tone of a typical South Park episode. There isn't much more to be said about this episode that hasn't already been said 100 times before, but still, this is one of the most well-executed satires of a classic Christmas story that's ever been done. The commitment to the bit is absolute all the way up until the reveal of the true nature of what's going on in the story, and that truth is so tonally different that you just have to laugh. Excellent narration, striking visuals, and clever writing make this a very successful Christmas episode.
He ran out the living room, turned off the light, and went back to the forest to set everything right. And went back to the forest to set everything right. He tried to forget all about it by watching TV, but his conscience caught up with him, and to the forest he did flee. He thought he could hide from his problems. Not true! He knew in his heart the thing he had to do.
Leave me alone!
He knew that only by going to the forest could he...
All right! God!
Number 3, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy Save Christmas. In preparing for this episode, I found that a lot of the Christmas episodes start with the basic concept of a kid not believing in Santa Claus, finding out he is real, and then working together to save Christmas. This one is the best out of all of them that fit that formula. Mandy, of course, is extremely cynical as always, and doesn't believe Santa is real. Billy does, very enthusiastically. Grim, in trying to prove to Mandy that Santa is real, takes her and Billy to the North Pole, but then they get sucked into a quest to save Santa after he's been turned into a vampire. The writing in this episode is fantastic and on point the entire time, and there are some really great jokes here. The episode matches the series in general in how well balanced it is, managing to not only poke fun at the holiday with a bit of clever cynicism, but also at times embody the Christmas spirit and focus on the positive themes of Christmas. This is another great Christmas episode.
Santa. What a big red scam.
Santa's not a scam, Mandy. He's real. We went to college together.
Grim, everyone knows that Santa is an invention designed by the Big Five corporations to sell tinsel and video games to an unsuspecting public.
The whole childhood wonder stage just blew right past you, didn't it?
Number 2, Codename Kids Next Door, Operation Naughty. Now, I did not expect to enjoy this episode as much as I did. I did watch Kids Next Door back in the day, and have a lot of fond memories of it, but what I didn't expect from this show was how well thought out this episode would be. The delightful kids from down the lane capture Santa Claus and make it so that they are the only ones on the nice list. The kids next door team up with a group of super-powered elves that are a parody of the X-Men to stop them. So, not only is this a great Christmas episode, it's also the best X-Men Christmas episode, beating out both X-Men the Animated Series and X-Men Evolution. Part of the style of Kids Next Door is taking a common event, going wild with it like a kid's imagination would, but then having the characters take it seriously so it feels genuine. That style works really well here with the Christmas episode, in particular the X-Men parody characters. You have Wintergreen, Coniferous, Snow Angel, and Nutcracker, each a parody of one or more X-Men, and they are very cleverly written and you can just tell the writers were having a blast with this.
Hate to do this to you, kid, but we're running out of time here.
Only once in 1,000 Christmases is Elfa Strike forced to pull out their most deadly attack. When there's no other way to save the most wonderful time of the year, they call in the 12 Days of Christmas attack. 12 drummers drumming, 11 pipers piping, 10 lords a leaping, 9 ladies dancing, 8 maids a milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French horns, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree!
Honorable mention. The Simpsons. The Simpsons roasting on an open fire. Before we get to number 1, I needed to make sure that this was mentioned. Now, this episode gets an honorable mention because I did not grow up watching The Simpsons, and I began watching it a lot later than most people, so I never watched the episode during its prime. However, despite my limited watching of the show, I still recognize that this is a significant and well-made episode of a legendary show. In my recent watching of it, I would say it still holds up despite its age. A special respect for this not only being a Christmas episode, but also the first episode of the show to air. I knew I had to talk about the show somewhere in the video, so it gets a well-deserved honorable mention.
Come on, Dad. This can be the miracle that saves The Simpsons Christmas. If TV has taught me anything, it's that miracles always happen to poor kids at Christmas. It happened to Tiny Tim, it happened to Charlie Brown, it happened to the Smurfs, and it's gonna happen to us.
Well, okay, let's go. Who's Tiny Tim?
And finally, number 1, Hey Arnold, Arnold's Christmas. Hey Arnold is one of my favorite shows of all time, and this episode is a perfect example of why I love it so much. This episode tells such a meaningful story, mixing humor, clever writing, and really poignant and impactful storytelling. Arnold's neighbor, Mr. Nguyen, is a Vietnamese immigrant, and before coming to the United States, he was separated from his daughter in a civilian evacuation during the Vietnam War, and he has not seen her since. Arnold sets it upon himself to reunite the family, and in order to do this, he has to complete a random government worker's Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve. He and Gerald run into Helga, who has been trying to find a perfect gift for Arnold, and this is where most of the funnier moments take place. Eventually, both Helga's story and Arnold's story converge when Helga finds the one missing piece to complete their shopping. This episode holds up extremely well, as does the show, and it is widely regarded as one of the most emotionally impactful episodes in the show's history. It takes its audience seriously, whether it's a kid watching or an adult, and deals with some really heavy material not seen too often in a show for kids. This episode really serves as an example of how a Christmas episode can capture the spirit of the holiday beyond just taking place during the season. There's really not much I can say about this without having to just go and watch the episode yourself. This is, without a doubt, my favorite animated Christmas episode.
I guess miracles can happen after all. Yeah, but how did it happen, Gerald? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Don't try to make sense out of it, Arnold. A miracle's a miracle, and that's all there is to it. Maybe you got a Christmas angel looking out for you or something. Christmas angel? Yeah, maybe. Merry Christmas, Arnold.
So there you have it, my top 12 animated Christmas episodes. Now, this goes without saying, these are all opinion-based, these are my personal favorites, so feel free to write in the comments below and tell me what your favorite Christmas episodes are. Even after all the research for this video, I probably haven't seen every Christmas episode out there. I'm Calluna, and thanks for watching Screenshots. Happy holidays, everyone!